StarTropics was developed... Wait, it was developed by Nintendo? StarTropics was a first-party game? Welcome to yet another game I know almost nothing about. StarTropics was developed and released by Nintendo for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1990. A top-down adventure game, the game takes place in present day, and was made by Japanese developers, but specifically with a US audience in mind. The game makes many references to cola, baseball, and years that are drilled into the minds of American school kids like 1492 and 1776. The adventure style is clearly inspired by one of Nintendo's most successful games, The Legend of Zelda. Things like hearts, the style of dungeons, and even an homage to the Octoroks, just called Octots this time around, make an appearance in this game. Various power-ups can be found. When I found a torch, I thought it might eventually be used to light my way in a dark dungeon, but even better, it allowed me to shoot projectile fireballs. Very useful for taking on enemies. You'll find that there are a lot of helpful items placed in such a way that they'll be useful for an upcoming boss battle. The game does give you multiple lives and is somewhat forgiving, but even if you die and are forced to continue, there is a save system, and the dungeons aren't so long that you get extremely frustrated before you go back to the grind. The game's controls are also excellent. Seeing other people play off and on over the years had me thinking that I was going to need to be much more precise, but your character seems to snap to a grid fairly well and move in predictable ways. I was able to acclimate pretty quickly. The only thing I found annoying in the game were the enemies that come in and attack you at an angle, as if the grid doesn't apply to them. Although the graphics didn't appeal to me when I was younger and saw this game as an option in my local rental shop, I actually believe the sprites are quite good. And although there's some switching between an overworld map and a closer view, similar to games like The Legend of Zelda, what I found most interesting was that when it comes to villages or dungeons, there are varying degrees of detail. Your sprite size changes, and the camera, so to speak, can be zoomed in to different levels. This is a nice little touch. You don't have control over this, but it was still a very interesting design choice. While there are lots of repeating sprites for overworld maps, that's to be expected for a game like this, and it actually comes in handy when you're looking for slight differences in those tiles. The music seems to be a bit of a mixed bag. Some of it is excellent, it makes you want to fulfill your quest. Some of it is more ominous, and some ethereal. Unfortunately, while you can experience some variety throughout an area, the songs tend to repeat themselves fairly quickly, and once you've heard each song, there isn't much more variety in the game. Many of the sound effects feel straight out of the original Zelda, but for a game developed in-house by a different team at Nintendo, that seems completely acceptable. So just what is the adventure and quest you find yourself on? The game is set in the present day, or okay, at least 1990, and it's not medieval fantasy, so if you aren't battling dragons and rescuing princesses, what are you doing? For that, we'll hop into the instruction manual. I'll also flip back and forth with some game footage, because once you get to a certain point, it starts to line up in the game manual quite impressively. Hi, my name is Michael Jones, but my friends call me Mike. I'm 15 years old, and I live in Seattle, Washington. Have you heard of my Uncle Steve? Well, most people don't call him that. They call him Dr. Jones. He's a very famous archaeologist who's looking for some lost ruins in the Coral Sea. I've never actually met him, but last week I received a letter from him inviting me to stay with him at his laboratory on Sea Island. I leave tomorrow on a helicopter. I bet I won't be able to sleep at all tonight. Well, good night. Today I landed on Sea Island after a long helicopter ride. The people are very friendly, and they all seem to know my uncle. I sure like this village, but I haven't been able to find my uncle anywhere, and no one here seems to know where he is either. Hi Mike, I'm Chief Coral Cola, a close friend of your uncle's. Listen, try not to be upset. Your uncle, Dr. Jones, has been abducted. Mike, you're the best hope of rescuing Dr. Jones. I'm the shaman of Coral Cola and the chief's sister. Many wild monsters are said to be lying in wait in the dark below. But remember, the magic of the Southern Cross is always on your side. Look for the Southern Cross in the sky above to help you find your way. Good luck. So that's exciting, right? You went to visit your uncle, but he's been abducted, so off you go on an adventure to rescue him. It seems simple enough, but one of the things that sets StarTropics apart is the presentation. Not just in the game, but with the items that came in the box with the game. this is where things get a little hairy. In the PDF manual that Nintendo put on their website for StarTropics, you can find a letter from Dr. Jones. There comes a point in the game when players are instructed to submerge the document in water. You can't do that with the PDF, and the hidden message was not included in the official PDF for the game. To quote a famous nerd, "What were they thinking?" Luckily, a certain gaming historian has documented the important bits of history for people who want to know. For me, StarTropics was a game I saw a lot when I was a kid renting games, but I always avoided it. I didn't think it would appeal to me, since I wasn't a big RPG fan. Little did I know that this game was built with players like me in mind. It isn't as much of a slog and completely aimless as many RPGs seem to be. It's fairly simple to figure out where you go, and you just keep moving ahead. I didn't think I was going to enjoy StarTropics, but all I really want to do now is go back and play some more. Although the plot seems kind of bland and straightforward at first, it doesn't take long before the game takes its first twist and delivers a few more before you're done with our story so far. Hey everybody, that was episode 89 of Our Story So Far TV. I thought it was going to be a quick one. I didn't think I'd have a lot to say about StarTropics, and yet here we are. That game was definitely a surprise to me. If this is something you played many years ago, feel free to leave a comment. Tell me why you weren't espousing the gospel of StarTropics to more players. People need to know about this game. I can't be the only one it flew under the radar for. Anyway, if you liked this episode, please give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike, but at least leave a comment and tell me why. New episodes go up every single Friday, and if you like what you saw, find a playlist and binge watch a few. There's nearly 100 episodes. Until next time, take care of yourself.